amount of work that you do, and the fact that you have to multitask through them, because you'll have registrations, titles, property taxes, and now driver's license, birth certificate, and concealed weapons. So you'll have to mold to what the customer wants. You'll have to use your active listening skills, and sometimes you have to pull the information out of the customer. They're not just going to put everything right there at the same time at the counter.
Yeah, just like Robin said, it's just it's like a vast sea of knowledge you have to have, and something new going into it. It's very overwhelming. That you've got to learn this and got to learn that, and people expect you to know already, and you don't. It's a learning curve.
Right.
So the vast knowledge of things you have to know was one of the surprising things.
The amount of technical information that you had to remember. There was a lot of details and a lot of things that, especially if you didn't have any background or knowledge with them, so that was like the toughest part for me.
For someone who's ready to go and always busy, a difficult day, could be just sitting there. But for somebody who's just kind of wants to be a little bit laid back, a busy day is that lobby full of people and it never stops.
The difficult one is where you have a very emotional customer, where you have to do the death procedures and they're crying and they're upset, and you got to keep your cool, but you're trying to help them as much as you can. Also from the tax department point of view, where you have an auction coming up and that person's letting you know that their husband died, they usually took care of the bills, but again, you can't change the legality of anything, so that would be probably a difficult day for me, is dealing with an emotional customer where you want to help them as much as you can, but there's some things you just can't. Customers, coworkers, getting honest feedback from the customers and your fellow coworkers, the team mentality, definitely.
Difficult day, I guess, is when it's really busy, at least for me in my experience, when it's really, really busy and you get one of those off-the-wall situations and everybody's busy and you don't want to bother them because you don't want to take them away from the customer, but to sit there and you have to ask questions and they take them away from the customer to be able to do that. So for me, that's like difficult. Otherwise,
the ever-changing environment, not one day is the same to the next.
What keeps me working here is, the atmosphere is great in itself, but every day you have the opportunity to help someone or to make someone's life better, and when you do that, it's very rewarding.
For me, it's the challenge of just, it's different every day. So if it was the same monotonous thing, day in, day out, I think it would grow old. But for the fact that it's different every day and then you're constantly being challenged, keeps me on my toes. So I like that.
It was very challenging, very, very challenging. Going from the work experience that I had working retail, it's not so much different than dealing with customers, but learning how to renew tags, learning how to do titles, that's usually the first two things that you do. And then dealing with property taxes during property tax season right after I started, that was completely different. And then you have property taxes and then renewing plates and titles usually within the same transaction. So it's just kind of gearing for each one.
Challenging, just because there's so much to remember, and there's a lot of stuff that even though when you go through like all the computer stuff, it doesn't really teach you your hands-on stuff. And it's just remembering like the things you need to keep in line and the different technical parts of that. So it is challenging just to remember everything for that.
The social setting, trying to figure out where you're going to fit in at. We have so many different personality types. If you're quiet, you're going to fit in with this. If you're not, you're going to fit in with these. Introvert, extrovert, and finding that place and finding those people that you connect with is it's like the first day of school. So all them butterflies and everything come back. rewarding. But rewarding in so many different ways. I mean, rewarding in the customer's view, rewarding, you know, from the customer standpoint, when you help them, it's good for them. Rewarding because it's just a great atmosphere. We have a lot of great things going on here with our senior leaders, you know, investing in us and in our futures. So it's very rewarding.
Challenging. And it's in a good way though. I mean, because, I mean, especially if you, I mean, like I said, if you don't like the monotonous of the things and you like different things every day, it's very similar for me from retail. That, you know, it's never the same, and I like that. So, like, you know, that challenge, you know, and to be that, but then it's also remembering everything too,
Right.
So yeah.
Say, working with 2 previous tax collectors' offices, and having went back and visited those offices after being here, we're doing pretty good. Technology is above where I came from, you know, communication is above where I came from, the teamwork atmosphere very much above where we came from. So it's up
The
there.
teamwork and the employee engagement, plus the on-the-job training abilities, the outside of the office training abilities like the leader cast and all that. So it's a lot different of having a community building each other up to be better within the job or a better person as a whole.
For me, it's very similar to what I've had, especially dealing with retail for the past 15 years and dealing with customer service. I mean, it's very much the same in that aspect. Now, granted, it's totally different with, you know, if you've had no experiences with tags and titles and driver's license and that kind of stuff, that's a whole different ballgame. But just for her having your interaction with people and the one-on-one thing, it's very similar. So which made that a lot easier to, I already had that down, so.
Usually I'm focusing on the customer side and what I get out of helping that customer. But one experience and memory that I won't ever forget, so my dad had surgery, and I had no idea that you guys had planned the orange shirts and all that business. And my dad had just come out of surgery. He literally had just come out of surgery, and I got that text message from y'all with the shirts on and signs, and that's great.
Fundraising with Crystal Newhouse and how everybody participated, as well as other offices in the courthouse participated, or even the town local businesses participated. That was probably the best memory that I have.
I don't think I have like one memory. I think it's just from the experiences of everything. Just learning about just the different stories that people bring in that one. So you get to kind of just enjoy and live with them, and then in the moment. And then some of them are so appreciative, they bring you, you know, big cookies or, you know, whatever the fact, because, you know, they're so used to having, you know, 4 8-hour waits and whatnot. So just the experiences with, you know, each and every one of them.